All right, podcast community, welcome back to Three Questions Podcast. I'm your host, Cam King. Tonight we have Live Well with L,
Yeah,
Andrea
yeah.
Mylin from Florida. She runs a coaching
Mhm.
business, primarily talking about narcissists, and she's going to be answering some questions about narcissism, divorce rates, and other things this evening. So happy to have you on. Why don't you give
Yeah.
a quick intro?
Yeah. Hi, Andrielle Mylin, and I do my handle, I guess you call it everywhere, right? Handle. Live Well with L. So that's on all the platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which I don't know if they're going to do that TikTok ban or not. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I have seen so much back and forth content about it. And I think it's
Yeah,
very
I
interesting that a freedom of speech platform is being banned in
right.
America
Hmm.
because whatever else. I've also seen that Congress is making a bunch of money off of Meta right now. They've done a lot of stock trades.
Yeah,
So they're
yeah.
financially incentivized to ban TikTok because whatever. I think they were trying to pressure
Right.
TikTok just to sell to an American company so they could invest in
Yeah.
it, IPO it, and
I think
profit
I
on it.
heard that. Hmm.
And it's a disgusting situation that will not bode well for those senators, I believe.
Yeah.
But we'll
A
see.
lot of
Kind of,
people out there rely on TikTok. That's why I was
yeah.
debating on even starting to post content there because the talk about banning it, but I'm
Mhm.
like, do what we can for now.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But you have thousands of followers, and I know
Yeah.
we're gonna talk kind of what led you into the coaching journey, but tell us a little bit about what your content is about for the people that want to find you in the bios.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So really, I mean, I started talking about narcissism because I had just gone through a breakup with a covert narcissist. So if you don't know a covert narcissist, they are subtle, sneaky, manipulative. It's much harder to tell with a covert narcissist. It's like a covert operation. That's exactly what it is. So went through a breakup with that and just wanted a way to really kind of release the emotions. So I turned to social media and just kind of started trying to help educate others, like from what I had been through. And it was a way just like a release for me as well, without going back to the narcissist, because anything will fall on deaf ears with a narcissist anyway. So it's like, you have to get it out. So I'm like, that's how I learned about my situation and what I was going through. So thankful for the people that I follow and watched and really helped me learn and realize I needed to get out. So, like, I don't know how long it would have taken if it wasn't for the content that's out there now. So, yeah, I just started kind of sharing information about, what is a narcissist and started gaining some followers and had a few videos kind of take off, which kind of surprised me. So I'm like, we'll just go with it. Just
Yeah.
therapy for myself, and it ended up helping a lot of other people. So that's great. That's the goal, really.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of people have been interested in the word narcissist because it can mean a
Yeah.
lot of different things. And I know you're going to get into
Yeah.
it, but like
Hmm.
I've been called one before and I
Oh,
didn't even
really?
really know. No, yeah, this is when I was like younger, but it's a
Hmm.
word that's been around for a long time. And I think that men either change after they get called that. I know I did, and I did a lot of work
Oh,
into
okay.
researching that, but
Yeah.
like, I think it's a term that a lot of people either conflate or misunderstand initially.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm excited to learn a little bit more about that. But you said you
Yeah.
primarily work with men also. What does that work
Hmm.
entail?
Well, yeah, because they would reach out through, I've had women reach out too, but men are the ones that really go the extra step to, I mean, for me anyways, with me, they want to get on the Zoom calls and they want to really start like healing and figuring out what happened and doing the healing. So, yeah, it's really just about like the coaching part of it is really just doing the inner work because there's a reason. why are we attracting these narcissists? You really have to look back at yourself, and there's a reason we're attracting them. And more often than not, it's, from childhood issues, childhood wounds, and trauma. And there's just parts of us that we need to do, the shadow work, they call it. There's shadow work to be done, and see, why are we allowing these narcissists, attracting and allowing them, because that's what narcissists do, is break your boundaries. They break you down until you're just a shell of a person that you once were. Like, you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You used to be a fun loving, outgoing, like all the good things. And that's what the narcissist is attracted to. And, they want that, and they don't know how to be that or have that. So they see that in you, and it's like they want to take it. And they do. And narcissism is a spectrum also,
Of course.
so. And I've also learned a lot from Dr. Romani. She's a great psychiatrist out there. She's like the number one narcissism doctor, actually. And
Mm.
she had a podcast. I mean, she's got probably millions of podcasts, but she did say that about 1 in 10 people is has narcissism to the point that it is disrupting their daily life and interfering in their relationships with people.
Mm.
So it's more than people think, because they want to like, people want to complain that it's overused and people are using this term too often. But I just think with information technology now, we have all this information at our fingertips. And back in the day, people didn't know what it was. They just thought, oh, well, he's an a-hole, or she's a, you know, terrible
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
I'm trying to censor.
Yeah, no, it's all good. This podcast, it's all free reign, right? There's
Okay,
you can say what you want. There's nothing off limits.
you
And
can bleep me.
yeah, in a lot of my coaching business, I really preach boundaries, protocols, and non-negotiables, right?
Yeah,
With a lot of my
yeah.
clients being women. And
Hmm.
I really think that if they started teaching this stuff in middle school or high school or college, we would be a
Hmm.
much better, efficient society and learn how to navigate
Yeah,
relationships. And
yeah.
the one instance I mentioned earlier, I was in a 7 year relationship that eroded. And towards the end, I realized I was really trying to change my partner into the person that I wanted her to be. And
Hmm.
that looking back, yeah, that was very narcissistic tendencies because I was withholding love because I wasn't getting
Mm.
fulfilled in the way that I wanted my partner to be. A lot of
Hmm.
self-reflection, right? Meditation, journaling, reading every
Yeah,
book under the sun you
yeah,
can. But
yeah.
I do think everyone inherently has narcissistic tendencies because you have to watch out for yourself at the end of the day. So I don't know that
Hmm.
it's something if you ever fully can erase, but you have to become
Hmm.
more conscious of, right? At
Yeah.
what point am I trying to change a person or manipulate a person or allowing my dark,
Control.
right?
Control. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
And
big on
so
control.
I know you know way more about this than I do, which is why I was excited to bring you on because that video, I was like, damn, this woman knows what she's talking about.
Yeah,
And
I'm super
I
excited to be here, actually. This is
Yeah,
great.
yeah. So we'll
Good
get
to bring
into,
awareness.
of
Hmm.
course, we'll hop into the questions, right? As Three Questions podcast works, as I
Hmm.
explained.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question. I'll give you 5 minutes to answer. You don't have to
Hmm.
fill all those 5 minutes if you don't want to. I'll just go on
Okay,
mute.
great.
I'm here to learn just as much, but like I'll give you a little four count because we're on
Yeah.
video and
Okay,
try to
perfect.
try to give the listeners a good takeaway because we
As
have a
much as
couple.
I can.
Yeah, a couple thousand things. I usually get about 80 listens on average per episode. So
Nice.
after this, I'll
Okay.
link you to my community and Discord if you want to
Yeah.
hop in so you can just
Oh,
give good
perfect.
advice. But
Love
yeah,
it.
you ready for question number one?
Sure, let's
All
do
right.
it.
So question number one, I'll set my watch. How
Hmm.
would you define a narcissist?
Okay. Well, so basically, they lack empathy is the big thing with narcissists, is their lack of empathy. So, and there's different kinds of narcissists as well. So there's overt narcissists, which they're the grandiose, over the top, loud, confrontational. They love confrontation. And I know this because my ex-husband was an overt grandiose narcissist. And then for leaving him 4 months later, I ended up with a covert narcissist, which is, they say that's very common actually when you're leaving, when you get out of a relationship with a narcissist, it's very common to end up right back in a relationship with another narcissist because, you haven't done the inner work. So it's very common for people to just keep repeating these same cycles and patterns until they start looking within themselves and doing the inner work. So basically, and then the covert narcissists, they are passive aggressive, they avoid confrontation, they'll ghost you. That's one of the big things with the covert narcissist is ghosting. Like they'll love bomb you, where they shower you with love and affection and get you hooked in the beginning, and then slowly over time it's like their mask starts to slip and they start criticizing you, devaluing you, just the list goes on. And, lying, cheating. And so gaslighting, that's the term where they basically make you make you think you didn't see what you saw. What you saw is not what you saw. What you heard isn't what you heard. Like they flip it around, to make you think you're crazy, basically. And then um blame shifting, they'll always turn the blame around on you. Somehow it's your fault that they cheated, just crazy things. But by then you're hooked because they've got you hooked in the beginning with this love bombing stage, where basically your brain, it's the same chemicals that if you were to be on drugs and like you're high from drugs, and it's the dopamine. So you start craving that, like you want that same hits of dopamine throughout the relationship, but they're taking it away. So we get addicted to these cycles of the highs and lows, highs and lows. So it's really the same as a drug addict on drugs, and they're trying to get that. That's why they call it a trauma bond. The trauma bond. That's basically the part where you're addicted to the drug and they are the drug. And they've gotten you addicted to this cycle of highs and lows, which is why it's so hard for people to just leave, because people will say, just leave, just leave. And it's like, it's just so much more complicated than that. And there's so much more going on. But when you do finally get out of it, that's the other thing. When you look back and you can finally get a clear head, because they keep you in a fog. It's like you're just in this fog the whole time and you just don't know what's going on and you're just confused. And it's like, and that every now and then they'll give you little glimpses of that person from the beginning, but the behavior just gets worse over time. And the longer you stay, the worse it gets. And the more you allow, the worse it gets. So it's like you're waiting for that person from the beginning to return, but they never do. And that's the thing, when you get out and look back, you're like, how did I fall for that? How did I stay so long? When you can finally get your head clear. But that's the thing about going no contact and why it's like imperative. And that's one of the things I stress. And that's another thing I help with in my coaching is I was I was doing just sporadic calls, letting him kind of book whenever. And it's like that wasn't working because too many people actually end up going back to the narcissist. So now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, we need to do like a 3 month, that first 3 months is like really imperative that you stick to the no contact. And after the 3 months, I feel like it starts getting a little better, but there's still work to do. But it's like the no contact is the really big thing in the beginning. So it's like weekly calls for at least, weekly coaching calls for at least 3 months in the beginning, just to make sure you're at least staying no contact. Because every time you go back contact, you start yourself all over. You're like back at square one, and it's all the turmoil all over again. It's like really the magic is staying no contact.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah.
that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no contact is such a hot topic, hot button issue as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel bad for the people that have children with a narcissist because they can't escape it. And it's like, and a lot of times these narcissists even fool the judges, the courts, the lawyers. I mean, they're just that good at being manipulative and wearing that mask and, just they're basically con men and con women, is what I say. It's another term I use. Con
Yeah.
artists. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't heard it explained that way. It seems you seem very well versed in dealing with all the different types, right?
It's
Personal
crazy.
experience as well as coaching,
Yeah.
but
I know. I can't believe how much I've absorbed over all this time, but it's like that's what we have to be doing really is doing the inner work and learning and healing and growing always as humans.
yeah,
Always striving for better.
I agree. And leading into question number two, you mentioned you dated what was it, over grandiose
And over
narcissist.
grandiose. Yeah.
So
That was my ex-husband. Come here.
yeah, and that's what led you into your coaching journey, right? Tell us a little bit about your
Um,
entrance into the coaching world. What made you decide that this was something you wanted to teach, and how is it
well,
going so far?
actually the covert narcissist, he was the second one. He was the one, sorry, my dog wants up. Okay. He was the one that shook me to my core because it's like with an overt narcissist, you kind of know what you're getting. Like they're not as bad, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion. It's the covert that's the one that's just will shake you to your core and shake all your beliefs and everything. So he's the reason I got on and started sharing just what I had learned in being with him. And, I never said his name. I kept everything private, even though I wanted to. Like, I wanted to blast his picture and information everywhere at the time. But, trying to keep it a little classy. But
Yeah,
he's the reason I got on and started sharing what I had learned and just the whole process, really. So I had people starting to just reach out through like TikTok and Instagram and my YouTube as well. So, they were asking me if I would take calls. And so I'm also an RN, I'm a registered nurse. So I'm like, well, that's a full-time job. And I really hadn't thought about doing any kind of coaching. It wasn't anything I ever, thought would be on the list of things to do. But I'm like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna make it happen. I want to do that for you guys and like to help whoever I can help. It's like the more people I can help, the better. So I just started kind of learning about that. And then I got into a couple programs myself, even to learn, like mentor programs of how to be a good coach and just learning about the spiritual side of things and, um, just healing, just always healing. It's just like a journey of continuous healing. But that's another thing I say is like, really, everyone needs a mentor that's been there and done that, and that's a little bit ahead of them, but not too far ahead because it's like, if you can't take more than you're ready to like you can't absorb more than you're ready to on this spiritual journey because you just won't it won't click. Just like back in the day, people used to tell me to listen to Joe Dispenza and they really loved Joe Dispenza. And back in the day, I'm like, I tried it because I was getting into like a little bit of manifesting, like The Secret and stuff like that. I was kind of getting into that. But I'm like, I wasn't there yet. I was not at Joe Dispenza level yet. So it all just went, right over my head. But now I'm like, oh, I love Joe Dispenza. But it's just like you can't take on more than you're ready for. So it's good to have like a mentor that's just a little ahead of you to where you feel like you really can resonate with them, where you feel like, they will help you and improve your life. And I think that's kind of what we all do really. And this to me, this is a much better investment than college ever was, honestly. And it's not as much as college. And it's a
no,
better investment. Yeah.
I I agree too. I love that you mentioned social media kind of creates these mentors and these coaching needs because traditional therapy or traditional doctors, whatever you go to, it's like they're
Mm,
just reacting to problems and putting these band-aid
yes.
temporary solutions and not really going back to the
Or
root or
they
to the
don't
core.
understand. Yeah,
Right.
sorry, but
No, no,
they
no,
don't
it's
understand.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
perfect, right? And you've identified a niche based upon your life experience, which is the best part of this, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's very impressive. How long have you
It,
been doing your business?
back in May,
Oh, wow.
almost a year. Yeah. Well, I started posting content in May. So like the calls didn't start happening till maybe 3 or 4 months later. And I started off very amateur with it because, I didn't know, but I'm like, sure, if you need someone to talk to, I can well, we can talk. So, but now I'm getting, I've gotten more set up to where I'm learning what
Mhm.
works, what doesn't work, and just
Hmm.
getting a better structure and routine, making
Yeah,
sure people stay no contact. That's the big thing,
yeah,
really,
you
with the
should
narcissism.
totally. You should write ebooks, all this stuff. I figured you've been doing
Yeah.
this for longer than a year. That's very
Oh
impressive.
my gosh. Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, it hasn't been that long. I mean, I used to post little videos, I feel like everyone kind of starts posting silly videos, like on TikTok, everyone kind of started off with that. They don't really know what they're doing yet on social media, but they're just kind of posting randomly. So if you scroll back far enough, you'll see those on my page where I'm just random, an Amazon top here and there or whatever. But then the narcissist thing, just it's crazy how the universe works, and it's like we don't always know what our calling's going to be or what our purpose is, but it's like when the universe speaks, the universe speaks.
Totally.
And you got to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
that's
want to
perfect.
touch back. Can I just touch back real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah, shoot, go.
Um, oh, when you said about, when people go to therapy, and they don't understand. They don't understand. That's the big thing. A therapist does not understand. It's like, unless they've been through it, and even Dr. Ramani, she says this all the time. She says, it does you no good to take a narcissist to a therapist because the only thing they're going to do is try to brainwash that therapist, and manipulate them to get to be on their side. And a lot of times the therapist doesn't know what's going on because they're not trained in narcissism and they have never been through it or experienced it. And that's why I say a lot of the time too, us as the victims of a narcissist are the best people to be able to diagnose them because we're the ones that have spent all the time with them. We're the ones that saw the other side of them, like the hidden behind closed doors. And that's the thing with the covert as well. Sorry, I just have so much to say.
No, no, I love it. Go for
I didn't realize I would just be flowing out like this, but
it.
it's like with the covert, they are very good at, hiding it with they'll have like even friends. They'll have a large group of shallow friends, but they don't have a close, intimate group of, intimate friendships because then people could see through that mask. So they will have a large group of very shallow friends, but that's another reason it's hard to tell with the covert because you think, well, they have all these friends, they must be a good person, you know, but that's the thing, and that's what another person. Do you know? Are we allowed to say other like
Yeah,
names on
yeah,
here?
go for it.
Like Victor Odo, you know him?
No, I don't follow him.
You know Aaron Dowdy?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, they have a thing going on together right now, but he was talking about like he used to be an addict. So he said that in the group sessions, he's like, who do you think people wanted to hear from? The white coats that came in all, I don't know, just like think they know everything and maybe it feels like they're better than everyone. Or the ones that looked really rough and rugged had been through an addiction and come out the other side. It's like, who do you think that people trying to recover wanted to hear from? And it's like, yeah, sitting in a room just reading books about a topic is not even close to the same as real life personal experience, But yeah, that's what I wanted. Sorry, it got into a whole thing.
No,
But it's
no, I
like
love it.
real life. Yeah. You want someone that's been there and knows and come out the other side of it. And so,
Hmm.
they can guide you so you can do
Yeah.
the same.
In my coaching, I would say my coaching focuses more on like neuroenergetics. So understanding
Okay.
anatomy, physiology, brain,
Yeah.
energy in terms of like six different categories. So the mental, the physical, the emotional, the
Wow.
spiritual, academic, and financial, right? And those are things
Yeah,
that I
I
work on
love
with
that.
clients. But it's like this X of like, okay, your personal life and your professional life, they're connected, whether or not you admit it. One is going to impact the other. And then there's so
Exactly.
many, we
Exactly.
we have a lot of people in our community. I can't wait to add you to it because you have so much insight here.
Yeah, that's great. I
But
love
there's so
it.
many coaches doing different things, like little offshoots, and everyone's helping each other. Like I'm trying to build a community here, and
Yes,
there's
I
so
love
much.
that. I love
Yeah,
that.
you're so niche and you're so eloquent with the way that you're phrasing things. I'm learning a lot. So,
Oh,
um,
thank you. Thank you. Oh, good. I didn't realize how much I had learned until right now. This is
yeah, there you
great.
go.
I'm so glad to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this
Yeah, and bringing
podcast.
awareness. Yeah,
Hmm.
just help other people and bring awareness. Oh, I was going to ask you too. So,
Shoot,
do you feel like everything is energy, like money is energy? Is that kind of what you talk
it's
about? Because I agree that the spiritual, your career and the spiritual you said is connected. Is that
Mhm.
what you said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I really
I agree with that.
damn, I wasn't prepared for this question. I think energy is the
Oh,
underlying theme.
sorry.
No, energy is
Yeah.
an underlying theme of everything else. But what I do on every call with my clients is I provide them tools and tactics. So like I went to therapy after that breakup and I was always like, okay, but
Hmm.
what can I do? Like, what is the thing I need to do? What book do I need to read to understand this more? And the therapist would be like, well, what
Yeah.
books do you want to read? Well, what do you want to do? Well, how do you feel? And I would be like, I'm a man. I just need you to tell me what to do. Point me in a direction. I am a
Yeah.
dog chasing
Yeah.
cars, right? So for me, that's where I'm very action oriented with my clients. Like I'll give them little
Hmm.
homework assignments and say, "Hey, I really need you to
Yeah.
read this book. I need you to do this exercise or this meditation or try this week or write out
Yeah.
what your boundaries, your protocols, your non-negotiables are and then digitize them."
Right.
And I keep a running tab of these things for clients. So I
Yeah,
find it to
that's
be
great.
very constructive, but it's not so niche. So when I come across a specialist and an expert such as yourself, I'm like, I want to learn more
Oh,
about
thank
this.
you.
Please tell me more,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's great. I know I'm so happy to be here. This is
Yeah.
great. I
Are
love being able to just help.
Yeah, no, you are a lot, especially for me, right? But because I've heard
Good.
the narcissist word a lot. Our third and
Right.
final question, and I'm actually really excited about this one, but it is why is the breakup and divorce rate in this
Oh,
country
yeah.
so high?
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
See, okay. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm an expert. This is just my opinion. This is my opinion. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know, but from what I'm seeing out there, for me, I feel like there's just a lack of masculine energy men. That's another thing I like to help bring awareness with the masculine and feminine energy balance because that really is what makes us happy. Like when women in their feminine energy and men in their masculine energy. And that's just our natural, innate being. That's how we thrive. That's where we live in our happiness. So, the feminine energy is more, wants to be more like laid back and receiving and nurturing. The feminine is the nurture, and the masculine is the like provider, action, go, do, right? So we all have both in us, but obviously feminine women are usually more on the feminine side, and the masculine's more of the, go, do, be. But just from what I see, it's like I see a lot of men that I feel like just don't want to take the lead and be leaders. And I see these women just talking about, they're working too. They're working, and but then they have to come home and take care of the children and the household and their man. And it's like they're burnt out. They're just so tired because I know men love to say that, it's women that initiate the divorce, but it's like, because we want to be happy. And I feel like I think the men are not happy either, but they're more likely going to just put their head down and kind of trudge it out, even though they're not really happy either because she's not happy, but because she's burnt out, so it's just like a vicious cycle. But I just think women are feeling burnt out, and it's like, go, why why stay where you're not happy? But then too, it's like women now are out that we are working. So if we're working with a man, we can go be without a man and work and not have to come home and take care of a man and children. I mean, if they have children, they'll still have that aspect, but also the man, because then he wants dinner and laundry. And it's like women are still having to do all the household chores and things and work. So, it's like if a man, if both people need to work, then and she can't stay home because running the household is a job as well. Like that is a job. Taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, that's a job. So it's like, and I was more than happy to stay home and do the woman things, but I like, I totally understand where the women are coming from of, having to work. We want to be home taking care of our men and families. Like that is what we want. We all want that. We don't want to be working. But these men, it seems like they get so triggered when we women say we want to provide our man. But that's the reason, is because we want to be able to be home and be that nurture for you and that comfort for you and have your meal ready when you get home and have your clothes clean and whatever you need. It's like we're more than happy doing that. It's like having to do all of it where we are getting burnt out. So I think the women are like, well, if I have to work and do all this extra stuff, I might as well just be alone. And I feel like the man is fine. The man, they don't want to leave because they're getting taken care of still. The woman's still doing it all, and he's still getting taken care of. And I heard this is going around. They're saying the happiest groups of people are single women and married men right now. That's going around big, a saying I keep hearing. So I'm like, I actually can believe that. I can see that. I can see why that is.
Yeah, those are
Right.
two
Yeah.
divergent paths for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
that
It's
was
complicated. I
yeah,
just think
that
there's a
was
lot of healing to be done. I just think
mhm.
people need to start looking inward, and really we women are just craving for men to, we need good, strong leader men. That's what women want. We don't want to be bitchy. We don't want to take the lead. Like, we do not want that. That is not in our nature. Like, we don't want that. But I think we're just all so burnt out at this point. And that's why the divorce rate probably is so high. Just
That
a,
is so
a lack of,
refreshing.
yeah, that's my thoughts. But that saying
Yeah,
is, I can see why the saying is a thing about the happiest groups of people are single women and married men. And I can definitely say I am just so blissful here in my little oasis I've created.
good,
And,
good.
yeah, just staying single. And that's important too, is taking your time to heal after getting out of a toxic relationship. Like, do not go jump into another relationship, you know, until you've done
No,
the healing and done the inner work.
and that is the hard part for sure.
Yeah.
Now tell us a little bit about your services, how to reach you, how to contact you. What's the best way
Oh,
if
yeah.
someone's listening to this podcast that they can reach out to you?
Yeah. Okay. So I try to respond to my DMs wherever you find me, but like I said, I'm live well with L underscore on all the platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Hopefully they don't ban TikTok. I don't know what's going on with that, but I have a link tree link that people can go to, and I have two applications. One is for the spiritual awakening, and the other one is for breaking the trauma bond. So depending where they're at or what they're going through, because I talk about both, and I can help with both, just depending what they need. So it's just a little questionnaire, so then I can just get to know kind of like where they're at, and then we set up a call, just to so I can learn about them. I can tell them about me and my program and see if it's a good fit, and then we just go from there. So yeah, and it's a free call, to set up, just see if we're a good fit, and hopefully I can help in some way. Then we
Nice.
go from there. Yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
on a 3-month program, because especially leaving a narcissist, it's like you need all the support you can get
Yeah.
and
I
healing and
love,
no contact.
yeah, I think that's a smart move. It's not just, you can't solve one person's problems in just one call. So I love
Right.
that you've
No.
set that higher tier up for people and have, two options to choose from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll get your
That's
link
something I
tree.
had to learn.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
great.
we'll
Great.
get everything set up in the bio so people can just reach out to you directly and click on the links from the podcast.
Yeah.
As promised, I'll
Cool.
send you the
That's
video
great.
thing so you can share this as you want, and then I'll follow
Awesome.
up
I love it.
via,
I
yeah,
can put it
well, of
on my channel. That's fine.
course. Yeah, go for
I
it.
hope I sound okay with these earbuds.
You sound great. Earbuds actually have great
Okay.
sound quality, way better than like,
Oh,
a
okay,
MacBook or
good.
computer. But
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah, L, live
Great.
well with L underscore.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really
Thank
appreciate you.
you. Yeah,
And we'll
I'm
get
so
you on a
happy to
few
be here.
yeah, we'll get you on a future episode, and I'm sure we'll be talking
I
again
love
soon,
that.
okay?
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much.
All
Happy
right.
to
And
be here.
yeah, for everyone else, thank you for listening to Three Questions Podcast. I'm going to be getting more guests on. I'm going to try to put out one, maybe two episodes a week. I'll just publish them when I record them. And now that I have more time being away from my primary job, I should be able to get these out to you guys. So appreciate you guys listening, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yes, thank you so much.